Big man's coming in. Hello, big man.
The boys got the job done. And Frank's right. I don't think we've beaten Henley since 2019, which is a long time. We've had quite a lot of games.
Been in the team then.
I would have been in the team at that point. Yeah. And we've had a lot of games where we've lost by 1 point. We lost by 1 point up there in November. We lost 1 point, I think it was here last year. So it's always close between us. And we won the arm wrestle, which is, at the end of the day, 5 points at home, and we wanted to put in a performance for our home fans. I think when we reflect, there'll be a few things where we're like, could have made that a bit easier. I was a bit frustrated with some of the refereeing decisions. I thought he said use it a bit quick at the end for me there.
Yep.
Some of the turnovers, I would have just catch up with him, just sort of see his pictures, because it's good learning for us and we can feed back to the boys as well. But look, the boys just didn't give up as well. Some great endeavour, great pressure from Jane as well at the end there to get the turnover. And look, that's a real 20-man effort. And there's boys who played a lot of rugby this season, who are nursing some injuries and really going the distance for us. So very exciting. And my challenge to the boys were, like, there'll be teams at this point in the season who go, we can't win the league, we can't get relegated, we'll just strap our boots on and have a little trot about. But I said to them, they've worked too hard up until this point to just cash out now. Like, we want to be playing our best rugby at this point in the season because we've been working all year. So and look, there's definitely elements of that today, which I thought we were just brilliant. And I think where potentially we haven't really been great at controlling the first period, I thought the first 10, 15 minutes was great, 2 tries. Yep. We had a little wobble, but you've got to win an arm wrestle, and the boys did that today, and I'm really chuffed for him.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things for me was obviously you go 12 points up, and then all of a sudden we find ourselves 12-15 down. But what was really important was that next passage of play, and obviously we pumped ourselves up the field. We got a rolling ball in, and obviously another try. There was a momentum shift, and they came out very, very, very well in the second half, the first 10 minutes. And we had to weather the storm. Obviously, there was a break from the scrum after big number 8, from like 3 or 4 yards out. It's going to be hard to stop that big fella going through from 3 yards, but then to turn it. And that grubber kick from Frank Reynolds and the juggling finish from Frankie Morgan was fantastic.
Yeah, and we've had days where those things don't really go our way, because obviously there's an element of luck in that as well. And I think we'll just keep maintaining pressure, and that helps us be more lucky. Some of the scrum D, I think we'll probably have to have a little dig into that. There's some learning for us going into the back end of the season. And that scrum at the end where they've obviously managed to go best part of 60-70 metres up the field. We need to just be able to back our defence, be rock solid there.
Yeah, I mean, I remember you many times we've had conversations, and also on our live stream, and you talked about painting the picture for the referee, and obviously so he can read the narrative that you want him to read. And it took a while for us to change that narrative at scrum time in the first half, wasn't it?
It was massive.
I was looking at it, and I know this is sad, but hey, sometimes Clemmy does stuff.
Oh, lovely.
I know, right? So the first 4 scrums for them in the first half resulted in a penalty one way or the other each time. Sometimes they played the ball out and they played an EK back and then for the penalty. Yeah. But that's a big narrative to change, isn't it?
It's a really big momentum swing as well, because scrum is an enormous part of the game. Ollie Frostic's favourite quote of this season for me is that every scrum is a game-defining event, and it's massively true, because we had a couple ourselves in the second half where we really turned the screw. And look, Ollie's been going brilliant. I thought actually having the ability to bring Danny on just before half time, bringing his experience at the scrum, just settled us down a bit. And that sort of carries through, I think, from that point. But for me, the real success today was the maul. It hasn't been as good as we would like, or as we wanted, maybe in recent weeks. And the boys have really started setting themselves challenges and putting pressure on themselves. And I thought they found an area where we could really pressure Henley, and I would love them to have got over at the end. I feel slightly hard done by, because I felt like he said use it a bit quick, but you have to react to that. And I think probably when we watch it, we've lost momentum, so that's all fair and valid. But ultimately we managed to really put some good pressure on, and whether we were mauling for distance, like from the middle of the park, and it's not something we've done a lot of, or where we're mauling to score, it was a real positive for us.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, I mean, I was saying with this young chap who came in with us today, got a gentleman called Rupert, who kind of was calling the second half with me today, and he said to me, you know, who would be your man of the match? Now, I originally said that the fans will go for the 100 cap guy. Okay, signal, because you normally would.
Yep.
You go with the romance of it, shall we say? To call Charlie McGovern was an interesting call, and then I had to remind myself, and obviously we've spoken about it before, but second rows, it's very hard for you to come out as this amazing player, like he does everything and anything, and you've made 50-yard breaks and cleared out 17 rucks with pure unadulterated aggression and all that stuff. But more often than not, if you go about your business and no one really notices what you're doing, generally speaking, you've had a cracking game, right?
You look, I think that potentially is doing Charlie a bit of a disservice because he worked incredibly hard, loads of really strong carries, some really nice tackles in there as well. Yeah, and look, he just goes from strength to strength. There's some great line-out takes. And we talked before how actually missing pre-season, you sort of playing catch-up, and I feel like he's sort of just, finding his feet now. Everything's settling in for him. So he's going to be with us next season, which is very exciting.
That's very good news.
I think he'll just get better and better.
Yeah, and I mean the fact that you can put him up in the line out is great, isn't it? I mean he's very agile. He does get around the park, and it was a very different kind of pack, wasn't it? From what I was looking at, we've started kind of going again. This is only my opinion, but it looks like we're starting to go away from a big marauding, lumpy pack to a pack now which is going to get around the park a hell of a lot more.
Absolutely. Look, the way that we want to attack is we want to move, and so we need players who can sort of execute that as an intent. And yeah, absolutely. I think Tom McKenzie's had some really good performances the last couple of weeks. And
big carries.
Yeah, he's putting in lots of tackles. He's a great line-out option as well. And that, having been fortunate enough to have someone like Sam Rogers coming off the bench, I thought it just closed the game out for us so well.
He's now got a bit of a hurty, I think he's right.
Yeah, we're not sure about his knee. Which I hope is
getting old though now, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's probably going to have them replaced. The hip's going to get replaced soon, just like his dad.
Sam works incredibly hard on his fitness, and he's in just fantastic shape. So look, just for him, his rugby journey's been, he's had a lot of injuries. So I really hope it's nothing too serious. But he's a tough bloke, so I'll be surprised if it's not something for him to have to work through.
Lovely. So moving on, obviously next week.
Week off.
Nice, isn't it? But you don't often like these though. That's the thing. We've spoken about before. You kind of like momentum and you don't like these breaks.
Do you know the Pilgrim score?
I don't know the Pilgrim.
No, sorry.
I'm going to go with the assumption that it's gone well.
You
said it with hope so.
I think so. I think that's what I heard. But in terms of this, like I sort of said, there's two types of team, and there's teams that are just sort of going through the motions now, and teams who are pushing on. We're going to train this week. Different, no contact, no need that now. Keep moving, keep working on some skill stuff, and actually it's an opportunity for us to even just drop in some new things. And what's great about the win today, just gives you a bit of space potentially to be more. We can stretch the group in terms of content and stuff and the things that we try. And look, we know going to Oxford Harlequins in a couple of weeks is it's a new place for us.
Yeah.
They've got 4G, which generally gets us very excited. We love playing on the old plastic track, but I just want to. The thing for me is that this team will continue improvement just constantly for the whole period. So, and look, these boys are working extremely hard. They're extremely committed. And like I said, like cheese, amazing from him today. 100 caps, didn't want to miss a game. Big family occasion.
Again, the fact to fly up to make sure
the lengths that he's gone to,
it's
the first time I've had conversations about this. And look, fair play to Taff as well, who worked extremely hard with Frank's family, trying to organise landing permits and all these things that you just don't think we'll ever talk about. So, but having him out there today was massive for us. He's just a big part of the squad. So, like you said, if he's going to get 300 points this year, it's just a phenomenal achievement for him personally.
My bird. Let's be honest. I can't see him not. So
no, I don't
we'll touch the wood on that one.
But yeah, I think he's got humble guy, Frank, isn't he? But he did have to have a step back because he wasn't quite approaching it in the right way, and that was affecting him. And then he's just worked incredibly hard. And I think his consistency now. I don't know what his percentage is. Must be. It's got to be 85.
It's got to be over. It's got to be over the 80% mark. I mean, today,
85,
a couple of misses, but normally
It's very
speaking,
rare,
you're picking out one a game tops, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and look, and there's so many games where he hasn't missed a kick. And look, we're very fortunate. But it's what these boys bring in terms of their skills, and we have 3 hours a week in training and warm up in there. What they do away from that actually can make a massive difference in terms of what they can contribute. And Frank's just a brilliant example of that.
He certainly is. Mate, as always, I love it. In fact, you come in here and we have these obviously honest and frank conversations. Not
even on purpose, mate. Shooting fresh in a barrel.
I've actually just looked at myself in the camera here, and I can see
my
ears. This one in particular is looking a little bit like Tom Lindsay's ear. And the reason why I mentioned Tom Lindsay is I wanted to mention it very quickly. Obviously, you know my mate Tom, and obviously you know your mate
Tom.
Back playing now at Dings.
At Dings.
How old is he? Coaching at Dings and playing at Dings.
He got hooked back in, did he?
He did get hooked back in.
Is he still playing? Is he playing tired? Was he?
I think he's gone back at hooker. But bear in mind, so I'm 48, which means he is 37.
He could be a little bit less, but yeah, that makes me feel old. I remember Tom coming in as an actual pup, like an 18.
Little bubba.
Yeah, it was never little, but yeah. He was young.
He was young. Yeah. Anyway, I digress, mate. As always, thank you so much for coming in.
Mate.
Go and
lovely
enjoy
weekend.
the
Thank you.
I'm sure you'll be getting a glass of wine, probably a red one, a large one as always. Anyway, what I would like to say, guys, is a real humdinger, and I think there's a really interesting statement there actually from Matt Corker. It was an arm wrestle, and it really was an arm wrestle. It was to and fro. I mean, Canterbury going from 12 points up to then being in total 8 points behind, and having to literally battle their way back down the field to get the result. So many positives. Line up more working fantastically well. 2 great tries from Frank Morgan. Try for Harry Sloane, and Reynolds on his 100th cap. I mean, brilliant, superb. Couldn't ask for anything more, could you, on a Saturday afternoon? I don't think. Anyway, on that lovely note, all I'm going to say to you is I hope you enjoyed all of the wonderful footage which was brought to you from MMS 360 Media and obviously Orbital Net, our principal partner, and obviously everything to do with Shepherd's Name, which is this way. Sorry, and all I want to say to you is, as you go into the rest of this weekend, I hope you are kind to each other. I hope you enjoy everything which life has to offer to you. And as always, finally for me, God bless. Take care now.